What's up, everybody? It's your boy TGK back with another reaction video today. Today, I'm going to react to the video by Flight Mike. The title of it is "The WNBA is About to Collapse." Enough for the fluff. Let's get to the stuff. Yeah, man. Here we go. This is the video. The WNBA is about to collapse. Let's go ahead and check it out.
We got a proposal from the league, which was honestly a slap in the face.
We are not asking to get paid what the men get paid. We're asking to get paid the same percentage of revenue shared.
What if I told you that WNBA players just rejected a deal that would have quadrupled their salaries? And that they're now threatening to set out an entire season unless they get paid like NBA superstars. From a loses $50 million every single year. Stick around.
Oh. Whoa, I did not even know about that. Obviously, I have not been checking into what's been going on. My life has been crazy, but that is insane that they could have quadrupled their money and they declined that deal. Oh, man. You know, I'd be rooting for them. I want them to have a league. And then it's like, you know, they make it hard on themselves, bro. But I don't know. And again, maybe there's an outside factor that's determining like, hey, this is the actual revenue you're bringing in and y'all deserve to get paid this much. And so, you know, both things could be true, but the NBA has, the league has consistently lost money for whatever reason. They've always lost money. It's crazy.
Because what I'm about to show you about this collective bargaining disaster will blow your mind. And trust me, by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why these players might have just made the biggest mistake in sports history. So before we get to the content, we're about to start running our annual NBA 2K26 giveaway on the
I'm good on that
corner, and sign up with more on third. And this expert answer. Armina, I will be home in about 12 days, and at which I promise you we'll have proper lighting again. If you guys want to see what I'm up to, you can check out my travels on Instagram. Now, the WNBA's current collective bargaining agreement expires on October 31st, 2025, and what the players are demanding isn't just unrealistic, it's financially impossible. But we'll get to that in a minute, because first, I need to tell you about the deal that they just walked away from. Here's where this gets absolutely wild. According to ESPN's reporting, the WNBA just offered to quadruple maximum player salaries.
I don't know. That way I can see what I'm looking at. This just I picked the wrong one. I selected the wrong one, and that is what I get. There we go. Did I put it up here? Did I just make it smaller? I should probably make it smaller, right? That way I can see the entire video. I do it like that. Maybe so. Maybe I should do it like this, right? I'd probably avoid copyright situations if I do it like that. Let's try this again. Should I put it down here? Nah, it should be like right here. That way I can see the text. Okay.
Talking about raising the max from $249,244 to over $1 million. Let me repeat that. They offered to make players millionaires just for 3.5 months of work, and the players said no. Wow. Why? Because according to WNBA PA President Nneka Aglumake, even though the money increased dramatically, relative to the percentage of everything is virtually staying the same, which means that the players want what the NBA has, which is 50% revenue sharing. Right now, they
oh man. All right, let's keep it going.
Get about 9.3% of league revenue. They want to jump from less than 10% to 50%. And here's where the math gets absolutely brutal. But before I show you why this demand is completely insane, you need to understand something about the WNBA that the average person just doesn't really pay attention to, and it involves a number that makes this whole situation even more ridiculous.
In the NBA, they have percentages of revenue shared for the players. We are not asking to get paid what the men get paid. We're asking to get paid the same percentage of revenue shared.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Got it. So that's a huge misconception.
I don't know how many times I have to say this in a video. I mean, I really need to put it in the beginning of a video, just in case if people click off of the content, at least the main takeaway would be this. The WNBA is not profitable. They lose about $40 to $50 million every single year. Not
and in just in basic terms, companies would go under. Like if you're consistently losing 40 to 50 million a year, or just always losing, you never turn a profit. I just don't know in what world that exists, right? And it's probably only in the WNBA where this exists. It's crazy. It is crazy. And I think the WNBA, whether they are making more money than they're showing that they actually are, whatever the case may be, the fact that they lose money consistently is, I just don't get it. I don't get it. I don't know. And then to go in this route of trying to get more money out of the WNBA is, I just feel like it's a lose-lose, bro. It's a lose-lose.
Sometimes, not in down years, every single year. Since 1997, the league has lost over $280 million and has never, not once, turned a profit. 28 years of existence and they've never made money. And the craziest part,
how, bro? How? How can you justify that? How? And then the league still exists for 28 years. How, bro?
Is whenever a NBA legend tried to suggest ways to make the product more entertaining, WNBA players would really not take it so well.
You think if we just lower the rim so y'all could dunk like we dunk, that'll give y'all more oomph than you already have?
No.
Do you think that the game will get more watch if the rims were a little bit shorter?
This is probably one of the most offensive questions you can ask a WNBA player.
Now let's do the math that apparently nobody in the WNBPA did. The league's 2024 revenue was about $200 million. If you give players 50% of that, you're talking about $100 million just in salaries. That's before you pay for arenas, staff, travel, marketing, or literally anything else. Remember, they're already losing $50 million a year. Adding another $80 million in player costs would mean that they're now losing $130 million annually. What business can survive that? And speaking of not understanding
apparently the WNBA can survive that. They've survived it for 28 years.
business, if you didn't hear what the players did to protest, it'll make you want to bang your head against the wall because it's so tone deaf that it actually hurt their own cause, and the reaction to this was hilarious. So about a month ago was the WNBA All-Star Game. This was supposed to be their big moment. All 22 players wore "Pay Us What You Owe Us" shirts during warm-ups. It went viral on social media. Fans were even chanting "Pay them." It sounded like a perfect protest until they actually played the game. The final score was 117 to 109. These are supposed to be the best players in the
You mean, disclaimer, I looked at the wrong scoring record.
league, and they gave such little effort on defense that they scored over 225 points combined. It looked like a pickup game at the local rec center, and before you say, "But Mike, that's what the NBA All-Star Game is," believe me, if you looked at the highlights or the lowlights of this game, you'd understand what I'm talking about here. Sure, in the NBA All-Star Game, which I'm gonna be honest, I haven't watched in quite some time because I personally find it very boring because players aren't really giving that much effort. You don't really see a lot of effort from the NBA players, but at least you're seeing them like trying to dunk the ball, or you'll see some isolation plays, you'll see some very deep three-point attempts, and yeah, eventually it could get a little boring. But in this particular game, you aren't even watching good basketball from the WNBA. And here's the kicker: Kelsey Plum basically admitted that not everyone wanted to participate in the protest.
As players, we didn't know that was going to happen.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
kind of
This
a
right
genuine
here.
surprise. But the T-shirt was determined this morning that we had a meeting for. You know, not to tattletale, but zero members of Team Clark were very present for that. But no, we were just we had a very
That really needed to be mentioned.
Not really needed to be mentioned, like at all. Well, what a way to throw the one big superstar you have in your league under the bus. Literally the person that's garnered all the extra attention your league needs. Her and Angel Reese, but more so Caitlin Clark. You want to throw her under the bus, whatever. It's the level of like entitlement is just, an ego is absolutely insane with some WNBA players.
I'm trying to make a situation light, okay?
She basically threw shade at Caitlin Clark's team for not being fully on board. So much for unity there, and the internet's reaction was brutal. I mean, there was one comment that said the WNBA loses $50 million every year and has never generated a profit. You deserve $0. Harsh? Maybe, but this is mathematically accurate. Now, the counterpoint to this is if you work for a company that is currently going under, you still typically get paid for working for that company. And that brings us to the elephant in the room, the one person who could have saved this league and how they completely fumbled that opportunity.
Yep.
Caitlin Clark generated 26.5% of all of the WNBA's economic activity in 2024.
That's
Let me put that into
bro.
perspective. One rookie generated over a quarter of the entire league's economic impact. Indiana Fever attendance jumped 318.9% when Caitlin Clark played. Her games averaged 1.18 million viewers compared to the 394,000 for games without her.
Come on now. Like when people discuss Caitlin Clark, bro, it's a whole different ball game, bro. Come on, man. Come on. You know, it is what it is. Like when you're talking about business, you have to look at the numbers and you have to go with the numbers. And when you got someone like that is generating the viewership, that is generating the economic impact, like you got to roll with it, bro. That's your golden goose. The WNBA fumbled. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know how to handle it. It's embarrassing, bro.
Appeared in 19 of the 23 games that exceeded 1 million viewers. Her jersey became the second best-selling basketball jersey in America, behind only Steph Curry.
Wow.
So analysts think that she could generate nearly $1 billion in economic impact for 2025. So naturally, the WNBA and its players did everything they could to mess this up. They kept her off of the Olympic team, costing an estimated $60 million in sponsor value. Kennedy Carter body slammed her in what was initially called a common foul, with Angel Reese cheering her on from the bench. Instead of marketing around their obvious superstar, the only player in WNBA history that people actually seem to care about, they just kept spreading the attention to other players because they were jealous of her. A former Nike marketing director, Jordan Rogers, said that the league suffered from corporate paralysis and created a false choice mentality, treating Clark's success as zero-sum. Imagine if the NBA had left Michael Jordan off of the dream team because other players might get jealous.
It's nuts, bro. And it really boggles my brain that people cannot understand that perspective. It's such a simple perspective. It's layered in business, and the fact that perspective is so controversial when it shouldn't be, bro. When you have a star in the league, you push that star. Just like WWE, when they have a star, a babyface, they push him, and then they find the opposite entity, the heel, that makes them even a bigger star, bro. It baffles me. Like the WNBA had an opportunity here, and they did everything to blow out the flames of what the Caitlin Clark, momentum, Caitlin Clark mania that she had. They literally fanned out the flames. Like it's so stupid. It's stupid.
Essentially what happened here. Now, to be fair, WNBA players do have some leverage. The new unrivaled 3x3 league pays an average of $222,000 for an 8-week season. Overseas, top players can make $500,000 to $1.5 million in Russia and China. So when Angel Reese says, if y'all don't give us what we want, we're sitting out, she's not completely powerless. But here's the uncomfortable truth that nobody wants to talk about. Those overseas leagues that pay more, they're subsidized by wealthy owners as hobbies or government sports programs. They don't face American requirements for profitability or long-term viability. So when players threaten to sit out for unrivaled $222,000 while rejecting the WNBA's offer that's approaching $1 million, it shows that this isn't really about money, it's about control and percentages. Remember that math from from earlier, the players want a bigger percentage of a pie that simply just doesn't exist. So let's make some comparisons to other leagues that are on the up and up, but they're not necessarily so popular, kind of like the WNBA. Let's talk about Major League Soccer for a minute, because it's the perfect comparison. Soccer is the world's most popular sport, and I gotta be careful because I'm in Italy right now, so over here it's called football. We all know what real football is. It's what I cover on microphone. But men's soccer has a massive global following, and guess what? The MLS lost $250 million in its first 5 years and took over a decade to achieve profitability. Even today, MLS players get about 30% of the revenue, still well below the 50% that WNBA players want. The NWSL, which is women's soccer, just got a groundbreaking CBA that raised their salary cap to $3.3 million per team by 2025. That's barely double the WNBA's current $1.5 million cap. Despite soccer having broader global appeal, the XFL and AAF, which were male football leagues with built-in fan bases, lost $70 million and $88 million respectively in single seasons while paying players modest salaries, and they folded because player costs killed them. But here's what really shows how disconnected WNBA players are from reality. Even economists say that they should be making exactly what they're being offered. Harvard economist Claudia Golden and others suggest that WNBA players should earn roughly 1/4 to 1/3 of an average NBA salary based off of revenue generation alone. Guess what? That's almost exactly what the league just offered them. And here's where this gets really interesting. Believe it or not, the WNBA is in the midst of an expansion boom. Golden State paid a $50 million expansion fee in 2025. Toronto and Portland will pay $250 million each. 3 more teams are planned by 2030. Investors aren't paying these prices for charity. They see future value. But here's the thing. That value depends on the league actually becoming profitable. Think about this. You're asking new owners to pay $250 million to buy into a business model that guarantees they'll lose money through excessive player costs. What investor would agree to that? The players are essentially holding a gun to their own heads. They want revolutionary change at the exact moment that the league is experiencing evolutionary growth. And if they kill that expansion momentum, they kill their own future.
No. The way he worded that was amazing.
They want revolutionary change at the exact moment that the league is experiencing evolutionary growth. And
right. So what that tells me is what he's saying is as they want all this revolutionary change, right? All this money, all the changes at the moment that they are starting to begin to see a revolutionary change. Unfortunately, the two things can't coincide, right? For example, like let's go back to WWE, right? 1997, when they were losing to WCW. WCW wrestlers, they had guaranteed contracts, whereas WWF at the time didn't. And you could tell as WCW was becoming more dominant, they were getting more lazy. The booking was what it was. Everyone had guaranteed contracts. They had creative control, revolutionary change. Whereas WWF, it was still controlled by Vince McMahon, and the wrestlers weren't making as much. And then thankfully Stone Cold and the Attitude Era pushed them to new heights. And then once they defeated WCW and all that, they were able to improve the deals. And they eventually got better and better. And I think CM Punk played a big role into what WWE is now and how much more efficient they are with like the health protocols and safety and things of that sort. But anyway, long story short, you have to have these peaks to get better and to improve and all that stuff. And I feel like the WNBA wants it right now when like it just goes without saying, this is just a harsh world of reality and business. Like you just got to pay your dues a little bit longer. Pay your dues a little bit longer and everything would have happened. And so it probably still will happen. But what they're doing here is they're just like, they're hurting their own selves by doing this, because when the biggest topic that comes out of the WNBA is this stuff and not basketball, fans are going to tune out, dog. And the only reason they'll tune in is because of Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese too. I mean, you know, Angel Reese, gorgeous. But anyway, Caitlin Clark, she could ball, bro. People want to watch good basketball. And Angel Reese has been playing good this year too.
If if they kill that expansion momentum, they kill their own future earning potential. Let me break down the new media deal that everyone keeps talking about. The WNBA got $2.2 billion over 11 years starting in 2026. That's $200 million annually. That sounds huge, right? Especially for the WNBA. But here's what they won't tell you. That represents just 6.6% of the NBA's $3 billion in annual media revenue. And 60% of WNBA revenue goes to the NBA and outside investors under the current ownership structure. So WNBA players want 50% of their smaller pie, while NBA players accept 49 to 51% of theirs. The math literally doesn't work. Even those skyrocketing franchise valuations everyone points to, the Las Vegas Aces went from a $2 million purchase to a $310 million valuation. But
No way. Wow. Boy, listen to that. Listen to that again.
From a $2 million purchase to a $310 million valuation. But those valuations reflect future potential. They're speculative. It's not current cash flow. It's pretty much the same thing as people were doing 4 years ago when they were paying hundreds of thousands of dollars for a picture of an ape, which if you happen to do that, my heart goes out to you. Teams average $20.2 million in revenue, but face higher costs when you include charter flights, marketing, and operations. Now, here's what really happened in those CBA negotiations. According to Brianna Stewart, the league ignored everything that they said, and it was a wasted opportunity. But the league characterized the same meeting as constructive and productive. Sadhu Sabali called the league's proposal a slap in the face. A slap in the face for an offer to make her a millionaire. And I think people just don't understand. WNBA players play less than 23% of the games that an NBA player does.
Wow.
And Commissioner Kathy Engelbert kept emphasizing the need for a sustainable economic model and a path to profitability. You know why? Because she actually has to answer to investors and ensure that the league survives long term. The NBA subsidizes the WNBA by $10 to $15 million annually and has absorbed 70% of the league's historical losses. Without that support, the WNBA would have folded years ago. That's why people joke that the WNBA is just a tax write-off for the NBA. So when players demand independence from NBA control while simultaneously needing NBA subsidies, it reveals the fundamental inconsistency in their position. Now let's talk about this threatened work stoppage. No WNBA work stoppage has ever occurred, and there's a reason for that. The league historically couldn't survive one. Nafisa Collier says that players are prepared for the possibility of lockout, but are they really? The charter flight program alone costs $25 million annually. That's over 12% of total revenue just for travel. Player salaries and benefits account for roughly $20 million total across all teams. So the league is spending more on flights than player salaries, and they want to double or triple that cost? A lockout would kill the momentum from the Caitlin Clark season. It would destroy your sponsor relationships and potentially end the expansion plans that represent the player's best path to higher future earnings. Look, I'm not saying WNBA players don't deserve fair compensation. They absolutely do. And the league's offer to quadruple maximum salaries represents real substantial progress. But demanding NBA level revenue percentages from a league that has never turned a profit, rejecting million-dollar offers as slaps in the face, threatening to sit out right when the league is finally gaining momentum, that's not fighting for fair wages, that's being delusional about basic business reality. The WNBA had a transcendent season in 2024. Record attendance, record viewership, record merchandise sales. I mean, guys, we were not making content on the WNBA 2 years ago, and now you guys are watching this. And even
it's exactly what I was saying, bro. Exactly what I was saying is now that they're experiencing all of this success, and in a moment of like their peak, popularity, the biggest thing about them is this entire money situation, and you gotta understand that like the casual fan really don't like some people out there don't really like to hear about athletes and money and them getting paid. I mean, there's a pocket of people that just enjoy college football because they know that those guys for the most part were just playing for free and now they're making money. And so obviously there's other people in the general audience that has strong opinions about this. And so this will turn people off too. And then people gonna be like, well, we don't need those people to be a fan of the WNBA. No, you do, bro. You do. You need every single person to be interested in WNBA as much as possible. You got to get the generic fan, the general audience, the mass. Like, you got to get everybody. Do not turn off your basic audience, because your hardcore audience will stay there through these kind of times. But your general one, you could lose them forever, bro. And that's I don't know, because this has been like the biggest topic that the WNBA has been going through so far since the All-Star break, and it's not a positive one. It's not. It's not at all.
Even with all that success, they still lost money. Adding 40% more in player costs without addressing the underlying economics would accelerate those losses, not create sustainability. History shows that sports leagues need patient capital and gradual growth to achieve sustainability. The NBA took 3 decades to achieve its current economics. The WNBA is 28 years old and just now is experiencing real growth. Players are gambling this moment on demands for immediate revolutionary change. They risk killing the patient to cure the disease. You can't split profits that don't exist. Let me know in the comment section down below. What do you think? Are WNBA players being unrealistic, or do they have a point about revenue sharing? I'd like to hear what you have to say. Aside from that, if you're an NFL fan like me, you know that the season is just getting heated up, and Micah Parsons has demanded a trade from the Dallas.
All right, y'all, let's get back to the main page. So yeah, when it comes to the whole idea of, you know, they're this whole revenue sharing and them wanting to have the NBA split, it's like, no, like, you haven't earned that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you haven't earned the split that the NBA has earned over the vast history that they have and how many years they've been in the league and all that stuff. Like, you can't. And in business, it just don't work that way, man. It don't. But hey, man, the Flight Mike, I always give him crap for some of these titles, but these kind of videos are where he is amazing at, because his videos are always geared to like a generic fan base that doesn't have too much interest in things. I don't have much details in what's going on with the WNBA. So for him to break this down as clearly as he did, great stuff. Kudos to him, man. I'll link the video in the description below, but yeah, man, that's crazy. Let me know what y'all think. What do y'all think? Do y'all think the WNBA deserves the NBA kind of split? Do y'all think they're alienating the fan base? Do y'all think they're hurting their league? Or do y'all think what they're doing is the right thing? I think that deal that they got offered was pretty fantastic, and they should have taken it. But I don't know, man. It's been your boy TGK. Appreciate y'all watching. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'm gonna catch y'all on the next one. We are